Awesome. I just first off like to say welcome. Thank you all. You look so lovely this evening. I know you're breaking out your business casual and professional from last year that you maybe didn't get to wear, but you all look stunning. And we're so excited to have you here this evening. First up, I'd like to welcome Dr. Beth McCuskey, who's going to be doing our special programming for this evening. She's the Vice Provost for Student Life here at Purdue. And I'm gonna allow our president, Shannon, maybe to speak a little bit about our interaction as president and vice president with Dr. McCuskey's office and just kind of the work that they do with PSG.
Testing, testing. Great. It sounds like it's working, right? Yes. Awesome. Okay, well, welcome to our first Senate session. Super excited to have Dr. Beth McCuskey here with us. She has quite the bio, but I think my favorite part about her is A, she loves PSG and loves working with us, and B, she's really is student success oriented. So a relationship with that she has with PSG is that she gives each administration room to define what our success is going to be. And she supports that. And so she wants to work with us rather than trying to lead just her own initiatives. And I really love that she does that for us. And she feels out the year and guides us accordingly. So we're really excited that she's on board with the Leave Your Mark administration and just the Purdue 2021-2022 school year. And today she's going to be talking a lot about how we can be the most successful and tying in academic success with extracurricular success. Everyone here knows that what it means and how valuable it is to be involved academically, but also with our relationships, creating more relationships and trying to make an impact on campus. So she is just the right person to kick off the year for us. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear more about some of the initiatives she's planned and about her office.
Perfect.
Snaps, everyone.
I'm going to just stick this down. Well, thank you. And oh my goodness, it is such an honor to be here at your very first Senate meeting. So right out of the gate, I just want to say how excited I am to be able to see all of you face to face, to be able to see you sitting shoulder to shoulder. I mean, we still have to wear these funky things on our face, and hopefully this won't be forever. But for the most part, we're in a place where we are back to normal, and that is just, it feels good. The energy on this campus is amazing, and I'm just thriving in it. I absolutely love it, and I hope you are too. I also want to say the students really made last year in terms of our success and kind of navigating through the COVID situation, dedicated to really just following the Protect Purdue guidelines, and that made such an enormous difference. And so I'm so proud to be part of a community where people take that seriously and do what they need to do to make things work, right? That clearly happened last year. So I also want to share just a couple things. Shannon mentioned kind of our office and how we tie in. We'll talk a little bit about our org structure, and I have a little kind of just walking through the division and who does what and the kinds of things that are on people's plates right now. But the PSG thing is really, really near and dear to my heart. So one of the very first things we did when I started in this role in 2014 was to create the PSG internship. It's not a mandatory internship, but the president and vice president have the opportunity to kind of spend some time in the summer in a paid internship role, learning the ropes, right? Spending a little time figuring out their year. What do we want to focus on? How do we want to focus on it? And we help facilitate interactions across campus with key administrators, right? So meeting the deans, meeting people in the communications office, certainly talking with us in student life, with the provost office, et cetera. So just kind of helping facilitate that understanding of Purdue, who does what, helping people kind of get their feet under them in terms of what they want to do for fall, having an action item list to start the fall off so that you can hit the ground running. And that is so important, to hit the ground running, because you could spend the first month just trying to figure it out, right? The other thing that we do, and all of you in the room are part of this, we have two separate evening dinner events, one with the cabinet and some of our leadership on campus, and the other with the Senate at large. So we will be getting those dates together, and we'll be inviting you to a dinner. Those have been amazing in the past. We just have opportunities to sit, talk, to hear what's on your mind, answer questions that you might have, et cetera. So So know that those are both in the hopper for fall too. We love working with you and want to wish you an amazing year. So a little bit about the division. We're going to go ahead and start with just kind of rolling through. Oops, somewhere that doesn't make sense. There we go, Dean Katie. So our first order of business is who is student life. So I'm going to point out the senior leaders in the division and the areas that they oversee. Within each of those conversations, we'll talk a little bit about student success initiatives that they're working on. Also some of the things that are kind of high on their list for fall. And then we'll wrap up and talk a little bit about the Steps to Leaps initiative, which is near and dear to my heart. We put this together a couple years ago, and actually right before the pandemic, kind of launched it, kind of got in, lots of momentum, and then kind of hit the pandemic wall and tried to pivot to online like most of our things did. So we're going to try to pick that back up in full force again this year. So we'll start with Dean Katie then. All right. Well, Katie Sermersheim is our Dean of Students. She's also an Associate Vice Provost, so she's kind of our designated second in the division. Katie oversees several areas, several big areas. Most of them, or all of them really, are focusing on overall student well-being. And so we see her as kind of the place where all the goodness of the experience on Purdue's campus come together, and somebody helping kind of facilitate that with students. So first out of the gate is her office, which is the ODOS office. Her office has several different arms to it. I am guessing you're familiar with many of them. So student attorneys part of that. Off-campus housing office is part of that. Greek and cooperative life, so fraternity, sorority, cooperative life is all part of that. Katie also has a support services function that helps students who, may not know where to go to get help. It may not be a mental health thing where I feel like I have to go to CAPS, but I just need to talk to somebody about the situation, right? And so she has a huge cadre of people who help there. She also has a team of people who help in student crisis. And these are the more serious situations that sometimes our students will see throughout the year. And so we have people, for example, somebody might fall and end up in the hospital. She has a team of people that are on call, and somebody will go to the hospital to be with that student, making sure we're communicating with family, all those kinds of things. So that's kind of the crux of her office as a whole. She also oversees recreation and wellness. RecWell is not just the wonderful and phenomenal co-rec, but 30-plus club sports organizations. We also have the intramural program, which is one of the biggest ones out there. Just a host of activities there. Also, the wellness office is part of RecWell, and that is a huge deal for students to be able to kind of connect in with wellness experts, peer wellness coaches, just kind of helping, get that center of where you need to be, right? Health center, so PUSH is part of Dean Katie's area. I think you're all familiar with PUSH, so that's all focused on your kind of medical, physical health. And then, of course, CAPS is part of Dean Katie's area. Some of the things she's working on, really, her whole focus is on support and advocacy. And so how do we prepare, kind of coming back post-pandemic, or still a little bit of pandemic around us, right? How do we make this shift from what we were doing last year to what we're doing this year? I'm sorry, I keep moving the mic away from my mouth. I apologize. I talk with my hands. Let's see. And then the other part is the challenge, right? And so we know that you all learn best when you are challenged. And sometimes the biggest learning takes place at some of the most uncomfortable and hard times, right? And so we don't want to just deliberately stick a bunch of roadblocks in your way. That's not what we're talking about here. But certainly helping you facilitate those challenges when they occur so that you get out on the other side, right? And you look back and say, wow, I've learned a ton, and I'm a better person through it, right? That's part of the lesson of life. Getting through the stumbles, figuring out who we are, and take it on the next thing down the road. Katie's also very deeply committed to mental wellness, and we'll talk a little bit about this here, and this campus network of support. So we'll go ahead and flip and show you that screen. This actually was done a couple years ago, and we're probably going to have to update it because there's even more things on it. What we want our students to understand is that there is a huge swath of support opportunities on campus for students, really across the board. I mentioned maybe somebody's a little homesick. They can go into ODOS and talk to our support specialist there. All the way, if somebody wants to talk to a therapist, needs to talk to a therapist, we absolutely have mental health support places through CAPS, mental health support on campus. There's a host of other things out there. Some of them, like WellTrack, are online tools, so little apps that you can use to just kind of test your own mental well-being. There's, I played with it when we first got it. I mean, it's kind of cool. There's some kind of cognitive behavioral therapy, how to kind of get in your own head and check your own thinking kinds of lessons. There's also some meditation support in there. So just kind of a way to, tweak, dive in a little bit and tweak a little bit. There's also things like the mental health first aid. We're bringing that one back. It's a program that's it's a program that belongs to someone else, that's sponsored by someone else, that is kind of delivered in multiple settings across the states. And we signed on to help really our cadre across campus who want to get trained in it to better understand mental health and to be better able to help people who have mental health needs. This isn't a therapy type of thing. It's simply a way to train, teach, educate our community to better understand mental health and be there to support our students. The Student of Concern report, you should all be well aware of that one. If you're not, any single person on this campus and off, if you have a concern about a student, there is an online reporting tool that goes straight into Odos. And you could say, wow, my roommate hasn't gotten out of bed in 3 days. They just seem like they're depressed. The person I sit next to in class hasn't shown up for 2 weeks or a week or whatever it is, right? I went out with my friend last night and they just didn't seem themselves. I mean, these are things that you can just report in. Somebody from the Dean of Students will connect in with that student and make sure that they're doing okay. And if not, get them some support. So there are a host of things out there. One that needs to be on here, of course, is your own Mental Health Action Week. This was a huge initiative that you've created really from the bottom up in terms of student support for an overall commitment to mental health and well-being. And partnering with campus, partnering with PGSG, it's a big deal. And so, how do we keep that alive as well? Because we're talking about these things, we're destigmatizing mental health, and we're helping students realize all of the places that they can go on campus to get support. All right, let's go to our next person. All right, Barb Frazee. Barb Frazee oversees university residences and dining and culinary. She's an assistant vice president. Barb just celebrated a birthday. I won't tell you how many, but the same day, she celebrated her 40th year on this campus as an employee. So she has given her entire career to Purdue University. She bleeds black and gold. She is one amazing human being. Barb spent her summer trying to figure out how are we going to house 10,000 first-year students. I'm sure you all heard the enrollments, right? We grew significantly. So many people decided to come to Purdue. So Barb did an amazing thing working with our people in real estate on campus, and they identified a host of places where we could lease and master lease and have enough beds for everybody. She leased over 900 apartments off campus, and we also are doing quite a few triples in the residence halls, using spaces that may not be designed, like a lounge, for example, for space, things like that, so that everybody who applied on time got a bed in the residence halls or in the spaces that we lease. So that was a huge undertaking, and Barb just knocked it out of the park. I know we had a couple bumps. I know there were some things that were put out on social media, but the reality is, we had to find over 1,500 beds, and she figured it out, and that's a big, 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 big deal. And we are so proud that we are able to accommodate all these Boilermakers who want to be on Purdue's campus and give them the amazing housing experience that she and the people who work there do so well. So the things on her plate, of course, were the density and solving that, and we opened with all those places fully functioning. We do have one that is 231 Flats, which is on the corner of Lindbergh and 231, is still under construction, and we should have our occupancy permit any day and hope to move in there soon. We have 60 plus students moving in there. The dining courts, we are thrilled. How many of you eat on campus? Anybody? All right, we are thrilled we're back to normal. Last year was rough. If you ate with us last year, it was, first semester was pretty much all prepackaged and you get what's in the box type of a thing. Second semester, we were able to be a little more flexible with how we manage. So It was better, but it was nothing like our normal year where you can come in and eat what you want. And so we're back to that model. In good Purdue fashion, we did the deep dive. What did we learn from the pandemic? One of the things we learned was the takeout model actually worked. So we're still allowing students to take food out of the dining courts. That's new. We never did that in the past. And so we're seeing about 10% of our students actually taking their food to go. So again, a new opportunity, a new way to use your board plan. Barb has been doing a ton in the academic partnership space too. We know that when we connect academics and the co-curriculum, so you learn the theory in your classrooms, you apply the theory in your leadership roles, for example, there is just such profound learning that takes place, and that residential experience can do so much. We have internships with several different colleges, several different disciplines, giving students a hands-on opportunity to do things, practical things in the workplace, but that tie back to that theory and kind of the understanding of their discipline that they're learning in the classroom. So we'll go ahead and flip now to Todd. All right, so Todd is actually the person who reports to me where PSG rolls up through. So PSG rolls up through student activities and organizations, and Dr. King reports to Todd. The leadership and professional development, and we call it initiative. We're changing the name because it's really not an initiative, it's a department, so we'll be doing that this year. But so that's Stephanie Knight and her team. And then convocations. Todd's primary background, he grew up through the convocations area. He has a music background and an MBA. So he's kind of a businessman and artist, which is perfect if you think about what convocations is all about, right? So this year, because we weren't quite sure, and even the industry, the music industry, Broadway, et cetera, was still trying to find its legs post-pandemic, we didn't have this whole slate of convos like we would normally do. Instead, we're opening the year with a few things outdoors. We have a film series that will be launched a little later in the semester, and then we'll launch our spring semester model a little bit later in the year. So did anyone see the giant hands from Squonk Opera? I mean, that was one of the coolest things. I just love those things. It's sad it was so hot because I think people could have kind of hung out and enjoyed it a little more because the weather was a little rough. But even so, we had several hundred people, 500 the first night, and I think even more the second. So good turnout for that. There's going to be another group that's on campus next weekend, and then he'll have the last group that will come in right around its homecoming weekend. And this one is it's called Choir Choir Choir, and it's actually a kind of a sing-along thing. So comedic, engage the audience. All of these are free. So and also get out to Global Fest. That's another place where we support through convos. Some of the things on Todd's list, Purdue Wow. So that stands for Weeks of Welcome. So all these things I'm talking about, we're trying to promote through that social media channel. So please pay attention to Purdue Wow. If you're attending some of these things, kind of tweet it out, get the energy going, because this is a real cool way to just build energy around fun stuff to do on campus. The Chill Zone, this was Todd's brainchild. He even named it. Again, last year, it was safer outside, right? So how do we get more people outside? So we created that Chill Zone concept, which is outside of Croc. And I don't know if many of you as upper division students may not have been around the first week of classes when BGR move-in, the first week of BGR move-in, just as students were starting to come back. There were like 1,500 people hanging out there that Monday night of BGR move-in. All well behaved other than a couple Adirondack chairs in the tree, which was not very nice to do to those poor chairs or poor trees. But other than that, everybody just wanted to meet other people and hang out, which is exactly, we want that for you. We want to have those social experiences where people connected with each other. Mentioned the convo, so we're going to start again really in the spring semester. And then one of the things we have to navigate are our theaters. We're using theaters for classrooms, and that will preclude some use for convocations and other types of activities. So we're going to have to figure out how do we share the theaters in order to kind of maximize the educational experience, but also continue to engage in the arts. All right, I think the next one's my last one. No, I'm sorry, I have two on our music areas. So the first is Bill Griffel. These, Bill and Jay Gephardt both report directly to me. Both of them are kind of our music entities. So So Bill oversees our PMO, so our choirs, mostly vocal, but also our bell choir. You can see them listed there. Again, they are just thrilled to come back to normal as well. Last year, a lot of their rehearsals and things had to be outdoors. They did kind of an outdoor Christmas show that they broadcast. So excited to be back in Bailey. They're going to be doing several things again. Performances across campus just to engage in the community. And then we're going to do a virtual Christmas show again, though not necessarily be filming it outdoors the way that we did last year. And then Jay Gephardt is our next slide. Jay is the bandmaster extraordinaire. Jay oversees all of our bands and orchestras, including the Purdue Marching Band. Some of the things, and just so you know, Jay is one of the best known musicians in his space in the country. And given, he's not overseeing a musical college, right? He's overseeing music, and he is phenomenal, and we are so, so fortunate to have Jay on this campus. But some of the things he's working on, again, the transition back, very different experiences for the musicians this year. We're also going to dedicate a space for the marching band, which is outside of kind of the T-Rec facility over by COREC. It's going to be rededicated as Hall, and it's a marching band complex. Hall's donated to support not only that facility that's new, but also the drill field that they've been using for years. So this will be one big complex, and we'll dedicate it at homecoming. And then we're super thrilled to be under construction for Hagel Hall. Mark and Sharon Hagel gave us a wonderful gift, a lead gift to get this building under construction, and we have been doing phenomenal in fundraising with band alumni and supporters to get this hall built and make this dream a reality. Purdue Bands and Orchestras have been in Elliott since Elliott was built. 75-year-old space. Anybody in here in any of the bands at all? So we have some experience. So you know what it's like in Elliott Hall probably. So we're just thrilled to get this new building ready, and it'll open next year. All right, and so the last, I promise. This is Steps to Leaps. How many of you are familiar with Steps to Leaps? A lot. That is amazing and wonderful. We started this initiative in part and with PSG a few years back. What we were seeing is a definite uptick in demand for mental health services, and we wanted to help facilitate more and better services out of CAPS, but also to recognize that it is a community effort to focus on mental health, to focus on resilience, and to focus on overall well-being. And that's how Steps to Leaps evolved. Each one of these pillars were identified by students as key themes to their own mental health, their own well-being. And so well-being, the first one there is really just that recognition that it's more than just, mental health or physical health. It's really your whole person, right? How you feel, being happy, feeling well, and how do you build those skill sets for your future? Leadership, I look at leadership as kind of the internal learning. We are never done as people. We should continue to learn throughout our lives. And that leadership piece is so crucial because it's that sense of, okay, what did I learn here and how do I apply it to the next thing in life? And that process of learning, it's like a shampoo, rinse, repeat. If you can manage that process of learning something, kind of unpacking it mentally, what did I learn? And then what does this mean for my future? How do I apply it to the next phase? That's really what the leadership component's about. Impact is supporting all of you in making your impact, recognizing we will make giant impacts in our lives. We also make small impacts every day. They're equally important. We also don't want people beating themselves up that they have to make a giant impact all the time. That's not what this is about. It's those steps along the way. And so giving people space to try new things, to maybe trip up a little bit, right? That's part of the journey. Networks is crucial as well. Networks is, and this is my favorite, I think, it is the rich fabric and tapestry of our life with everybody who's part of that, right? And so the more people that you can build in your network, the more quality those network members have in terms of just being able to talk about things, being able to do the deep dive with people, and being there for them too, because that's a huge part of it as well. It's not just taking from your network, it's giving back. you start those conversations now, you build those relationships now, they will be with you forever. You know, I love Purdue alumni have so many interesting relationships and friends. You know, I'll talk to an alumni and, oh yeah, I know an astronaut, or oh yeah, I know a CEO. And you start unpacking this stuff, right, about their friends in these roles. Well, my goodness, these were like the roommate or the guy in the biology class, right, that I stayed in touch with. Those relationships through your life are crucial. And so just learning not just to make friends and be able to connect with people, but to keep those friendships alive, keep those relationships alive, will just do so well for you, for your own mental health and well-being, your own network in terms of your own growth down the road, but also kind of giving back and recognition of the phenomenal Purdue experience you had. And then finally, grit. Grit is a Purdue word. We know that. We teased around lots of different choices and settled on this word because that's what students liked, I guess. And really, we are defining grit as picking up when we trip up, right? Recognizing we will all trip up. Tripping up is natural. We'll fall down. We'll fail. Understanding that that's part of life for all of us. And the more we can talk about these things with our network, the stronger and more resilient we become, right? So just understanding that sometimes things don't go our way. What do we do with ourselves? What do we do when that happens, right? And that's that learning. That's that, yes, it's okay to be mad or to cry or all those things. That's normal. But how do you move forward from that, right? And so that's how we're defining grit. So I am going to stop there. I'm sorry, I kind of rambled quite a bit. Again, I'm excited. I'm in person. It's so cool to see everybody. It's just great to be here. Just wondered if there's time for questions. If anyone had anything pressing? Yes.
Hi, my name is Katie Stone. I was curious what Purdue's long-term space solutions are, because overflow housing and the classroom space solutions we have now don't seem to be sustainable or working quality solutions.
Okay, I think that's a fair question. I think the question is, so the question's around space. I think the underpinning question to that is, where should our enrollments be? And so know that there are people looking at that and defining that and making decisions around that. I think there's lots of things that go into this. One of the things that is happening right now is a classroom master plan. And so looking at, you know, just how we deliver our classes and what is the space requirement to do that. So that's underway. On the housing side, it will follow a similar path, right? But it's grounded in the enrollment decisions. We don't want to say, let's go build something. Again, it takes several years to get through that process. And then, oh, gee, maybe we don't want to be that big after all, right? That would not be a good thing to do. So know that there are people working on all those fronts. I think your opinions in this space really do matter. And so if you're seeing things or, you know, want to weigh in on things, certainly share with your leadership. Shannon sits in a meeting with really all of the elected Purdue leaders from like the Faculty Senate, University Senate, and PGSD. They meet with the provost. And so that's a great place to share some of those things. So if you have observations, that's a great place to pass them along. You bet. Yes?
My name is Sheila Corona. So you said the takeout system for the course was a success, and I was actually able to eat through the takeout system because I was part of BGR last year. How would you say like waste management was a success? Because during those 2 weeks when I was just there with the incoming students, like trash cans were full and whatever, so I can't imagine how it was when like every like on campus resident came back and was eating out. So like, was it eco-friendly, or how are you guys gonna make it eco-friendly? And what about like food wastage? Because you're getting either too much or too little.
Well, there are good points there. I think this is an issue that needs a ton of unpacking, right? So one space is in, you know, what kind of containers are we using? Are they good containers in terms of throwing away type of a thing? Are they biodegradable? Are they compostable? Are they recyclable, right? And so I know last year there was a huge effort to find containers that were not only met those requirements, but also kept food in a way that, you know, your soup wouldn't spill all over your sandwich kind of a thing, right? And so know that people were working on that front. I think there's a big educational side to this too. I know that Shannon is very passionate about sustainability, and I believe that you will all probably kind of do some things this year. And so having those kinds of conversations, how do we talk about this stuff, right? I do think on some level, takeout may be even more sustainable, because if you're we got rid of the trays a long time ago because people would pile so much food on their trays and then, not eyes bigger than your stomach, right? You're not hungry and you throw it away. We didn't allow you to take it out. Now you don't have the trays, which is a little more helpful because you can, go back and get seconds or thirds if you want them. But that way, if you're full, you don't have a tray full of unused food. Takeout, though, realistically, if you don't eat it, you can eat it later, which is nice, right? So rather than it getting tossed for the digester, the West Lafayette digester, which is where our food waste goes in the dining courts, hopefully people have, a snack or a second meal out of it. So it's not how we set it up for, but again, if you don't want to eat it all, you don't have to eat it all on the spot, and you don't have to throw it away either, right? So I do think that you're bringing up good points, and I think it's a great place to talk and spend some energy this year. How do we do things better? It's absolutely not perfect. I certainly would acknowledge that. But lots of good people working on it too.
For any further questions, can we make sure we're using the microphones down at the bottom? If you just place your finger on them and wait till the light turns green, you'll be good to go and everyone will be able to hear you.
I'm going to grab my water for a second.
And keep pushing on it too. So you want it to be lit green the whole time you're talking, like this.
Senator Merkel, do you have a question?
So, my name is Mason. Thank you for coming today. Something that I've seen a lot of support for in the past year or two is the concept of carbon neutrality at Purdue. We see it at other colleges, and there's a lot of support for bringing that sort of innovation to Purdue. So, you just discussed some fantastic committees and initiatives. We've got offices for student life, diversity, all that stuff. And with sustainability sort of popping up as a more important problem, I was wondering what our chances are of maybe possibly seeing an office for sustainability among these slides, because we do have kind of a campus master planning and sustainability office, but in my experience and many other people's experiences, with it being limited to the physical plant, it would be better if it was part of the discussion with the other sort of executive offices.
Okay. Well, I think the leadership role on campus is through that Office of Sustainability. I think I am not totally tuned in with their inner workings at the moment, but I think I read that maybe they're hiring somebody right now. Has anyone tuned in there?
They are historically understaffed, and there's a lot of turnover.
Okay. So, but I know Michael Gulich, who's the university architect. He came here as a sustainability officer. Michael is passionate about sustainability. So, again, I think as leaders, building those bridges too are important. And again, that's through the administrative operations side of Purdue. So their VP is Michael Klein.
Yeah, Senator, if you'd like to learn more about that, we can connect you with Michael as well.
I worked directly for Michael at one point, and I've been connected with him for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a fantastic individual.
He's so passionate.
I've just heard some problems with the fact that they're off campus and they're limited to the physical facility side. And it's sort of just it seems like it's a smaller initiative right now underneath the administrative operations under Michael Klein, like you mentioned.
Well, again, I think we can certainly factor that in through Shannon's conversations with the provost. I can absolutely pass that along to you, and would encourage you in your leadership role to keep those conversations up. I know, like I said, Michael came here as a sustainability officer. He absolutely bleeds it too, and so staying tight with Michael, I think, is important as well.
Thank you.
You bet.
President Kang? Oh, go ahead. Pro Temp Reynolds. You can go ahead, Veronica.
Hello, my name is Veronica Reynolds. I just have a quick question about, it might not be you, it might be Dean Katie, but do you have anything to say about the new CAPS director? I know that CAPS has a new director. I'm in the band. He actually came to speak to us. It was really cool.
Okay.
I think that's really good to hear about CAPS, but do you have anything just overall,
Well, first of all, he's a rock star. And you probably saw that. I think if you were building a guest list for these meetings, you need to invite Dr. Haynes. He is just breathing such an interesting, fresh perspective to how we look at mental health on campus. He is actually a Hoosier actually kind of a Hoosier from that other school, Hoosier too. But he is so excited to be back in Indiana as well. So I think having conversations with him will go a long way. He's already looking at just different ways to deliver, different ways. I mean, he's really just unpacking how do we do our work and how do we best meet students where they are. One of the things immediately they're doing just conversations on various topics that are kind of salient to today's, just current events kinds of things, right? So how do we sit down and how do we unpack coming back from a pandemic, right? I mean, that's it. It's different, right? And so having discussions about that, just not therapy sessions or anything like that, just let's all get together and talk about this stuff because it is different, right? So, but I would encourage you to keep him on your list as someone to potentially bring in because he's just amazing.
All right. My question is sort of about budget and how much of a say you guys have in that. Oh, clearly, you oversee really important parts of campus. I'm wondering, whoever kind of does the financial planning and budgets out how Purdue's going to spend the money, how much of your input do they listen to, and how has that changed over the years, especially with CAPS? I think that question is specifically for CAPS.
Okay. I think that when we have defined needs and take those needs to budget planners, that we're heard and in most cases get something. We may not get everything we ask for, which is very typical when you're doing a budget. But this year, for example, we have a position that's working, and they haven't started yet. They'll start mid-month. Someone who is working with new beginners and returning sophomores and just making sure that everybody has all opportunities to get engaged on campus, to find their home on campus. Last year was so hard for our new students, if you think about it, right? I mean, you came in and you don't already have your friendship network built, right? And so a lot of the ways that those of you who are older might have found to build those networks were hard for the group last year. And so we want to acknowledge that and try to find ways to just make sure they're connecting. And we're doing some surveys and things to just reach out to people and just get a sense of where people are. Same thing with new beginners. As you know, Purdue's big, and to be successful, to feel good here, you have to find your home or homes, right? Whether that's being part of the band, obviously part of PSG. Every one of you, I am sure, have multiple places where you hang your hat, and those are so important. Those friendships you build, the learning that's taking place there, where you can kind of get grounded in people that you're comfortable with. I mean, all of those things are so important. So helping our students find their way that way is very big. The second one is in Katie's office, in Dean Katie's office, and that's in the student support area. Again, some of the things with COVID, her office has taken role with kind of, dealing with kind of the excuse side and things like that. I mean, we have the academic case managers who are working hand in hand with students, but a lot of the back of the house flow and things are going through Dean Katie's area. And of course, any student of concern that comes up is coming through there. So we had quite a few of those for COVID as well. So, so we backfilled there to just help her stay on normal track. CAPS is trending. Their numbers are trending similar to 2 years ago. Last year, we actually saw a big decline in demand for CAPS, which we thought was interesting, kind of in a weird way. Lots of speculation of why that was. 10% of our students were taking courses from home, so that could definitely have played a role. But this year, we're trending back to where we were. So yes, I think we're heard. I think people are in tune with mental health and realize it is so important. And so part of it is, though, CAPS is a vital part of this. The number of therapists we have that are available to students are a big part of this. But it's also all those things on that rainbow slide. How can you, get connected with people who can help you? Not necessarily a therapist, right? Some problems aren't necessarily needing a therapist. And so how do we make sure that people know that there's all these resources out there and do the outreach to make that happen? Yes.
I think out of respect for everyone's time this evening, thank you so much,
Oh, you
Dr.
bet.
McCuskey, for your wise words of wisdom and your transparency. I think it's so special that this body of students can come together and you answer questions so openly and honestly, and we're really grateful for your partnership with PSG. So
You bet.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all too. And just have an awesome year. And if there's anything else you want to chat about, happy to do so. And we will be inviting y'all to dinner. So just look forward to the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just really quick, if anyone has not scanned the QR code for attendance, I'll leave that up there for a second. We will get started. Hello and welcome everyone. At 7:48, I will now call this meeting to order. First up is our introduction of visitors. We have quite a few visitors here this evening, so we'll go ahead and get started right here and go all the way down. So just go ahead, if you're an appointee this evening, please say your name and the position you are potentially being appointed to.
I am Andrew Jensen, and I'm being appointed for the co-executive director for the engagement committee.
I'm Maddie Woodrow. I'm being appointed as the other co-executive director of the engagement committee.
I'm Matt Choi. I'm being appointed for the executive director of technology.
I'm Olivia Kenna. I'm hopefully be appointed for the executive director of governmental relations.
I'm Kaylee Stowe. I'm up for appointment of co-ED for diversity and inclusion.
I'm Izzy Bent, and I'm up for the appointment of the other co-ED position for diversity and inclusion.
I'm Naishu. I'm appointed for the co-executive director of programming committee.
I'm Martha Eden, and I am an appointee for the co-executive director for strategic planning and assessment.
My name is Summer Fately, and I will hopefully be getting appointed for co-executive director of the communications committee.
I'm Sahana Ryan, and I will be appointed the co-executive director position for strategic planning and assessment committee.
My name is Anna Bullard, and I am also up for the appointment for co-director for communications.
And we can continue right back here. You can go ahead.
Hi, I'm Arwa Rashad. I'm being appointed as justice today.
I'm Robert Kim. I'm another appointee for justice.
I'm Alec Young, and I'm also going to be appointed as a justice.
Mike, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Mifflin. I'm an assistant director of student organizations with SAO, and also serve as one of the advisors for PSG, primarily working with Sean over there. He's probably introduce himself in a minute.
Hold on. Hi, y'all. I'm Martia King. I am the advisor for Purdue Student Government. Work primarily with the cabinet, but my door is open to all. Crack 374. It's stocked with candy and chips and whatever you need if you are in the building. So
we can get started with the exponent back there and work our way this way.
Hi, I'm Sasha, and I'm from the exponent.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Martinez. I'm also from the exponent.
Our light doesn't come on. I'm Sean Wiseman, and I am the treasurer of the student government.
Miu, you can go ahead.
I'm Casey Moto. I'm going to be appointed as the press secretary for Purdue Student Government.
I'm Rania Pinjala, and I'm going to be appointed as secretary for student government.
I'm Addie. I'm going to be appointed as the ABTS liaison for the.
I'm Abby Marson, and I'm going to be appointed senior policy advisor.
I'm Nathan Fairchild. I'm the appointee for the parliamentarian position.
Awesome. Did we miss any visitors? We'll now move on to proxy reports. If you're a proxy, please raise your name placard, state your name and the senator you're proxying for. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, hi. My name is Garrett Price. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am a proxy for Raina Moans of the HHS College.
Perfect. We'll now move on to President Kang taking our roll call.
All right. I hope I don't miss someone, but if I do, please let me know. All right. Senator Ferguson.
Here.
Senator Barunda.
Here.
Oh, also let me know if I get your name wrong. I know I asked for phonetic, your pronunciation during the summer, but it's been a bit. Senator Ashby.
Here.
Senator Fridlin.
Here.
Senator Merkel.
Here.
Senator Knaus.
Here.
Senator Chris.
Here.
Senator Dodona.
Here.
Senator Bridges.
Here.
Senator Imons. Oh, is that the proxy? Awesome. Senator Buftas. Senator Brown.
Here.
Senator Askunis.
Here.
Did I get that right?
Pretty close. Askunis.
Askunis. Awesome, thank you. Senator Thomas.
Here.
Senator Fitchner.
Here.
Senator Braun.
Here.
Senator Corona.
Here.
Senator Reynolds.
Here.
Senator Nator.
Here.
Senator de Guzman. Senator Perello.
Here.
Senator Carroll.
Here.
Did I miss anyone? You're correct. Oh, Senator Stockler.
Here.
Awesome. Thank you, Madam President. Before we move on to the Pledge of Purpose, I just wanted to let you all know this was part of a bill that was passed by PSG last year, but will now be implementing our land acknowledgement for this school year. Purdue student government acknowledges the traditional homelands of the indigenous people of which Purdue University is built upon. We honor and appreciate the Potawatomi, Delaware, Miami, and Shawnee people who are the original indigenous caretakers. Senators, will you please now rise for the Pledge of Purpose? Our purpose is to be the voice of the Purdue student body Awesome, thank you so much. The minutes for the last meeting were distributed to all via the Google Drive. Are there any corrections to the minutes at this time? Seeing no corrections, the minutes are approved as read. We'll now move on to executive reports. President Kang, do you have any?
I do, I have one. So hopefully by now you guys all have access to the Google Drive. If not, the link is in the Slack. And on that Google Drive, I would like to focus your attention to the calendar. So feel free to go in and put in any dates that you have for the whole org to know about. And I know the boxes look small, but you guys can cram as much in there and I'll adjust them accordingly. But again, that's open and available to everyone. So please utilize that. And don't share the link with anyone else outside of PSG. That's it.
Awesome. I can share my executive reports really fast. In terms of writing legislation, I've communicated with a couple of you senators about some ideas that you have. That's amazing. If you guys need any help, if you have an idea, you think it might be crazy, that's okay. Bring it to Veronica or myself, and we can try to help you hash out the details and kind of go through the process of writing a piece of legislation. If you have any questions regarding Senate protocol, how PSG functions, and this kind of goes for everyone, all of our governing documents are within the Google Drive. I'm kind of a political science nerd. I find it really interesting. Please familiarize yourself with them. We will be sending out a survey for preferences for office hours here soon. I know we apologize, we haven't gotten kind of the structure. We'd like to see those out to you guys yet, but we just want to gauge preferences in terms of what would you like to be in person in the PSG office? Do you prefer virtual for your safety? So just be on the lookout for that. You also all should have gotten an email in the past week from a representative from the University Senate with your placement for that committee. If you do not yet, let me know. Okay. Moving on to our Chief of Staff, Vince.
Hello. I have a few things, so bear with me as we go through. Also, you'll probably be hearing from me a lot today because of all the appointments. A little bit of a precursor to that, I am happy to answer any questions or concerns that you have about people that are appointed. But as an overhaul, I don't want to be in here beating a dead horse over and over, telling you how great of people they all are. There's a reason they were chosen out of the 700 people that applied, and there's a reason that some of these people are returning, and some people that you are not seeing back are not returning. That's because they either did not live up to the standard of the job that I have placed and Purdue Student Government should uphold for everybody involved. But at the same time, there are wonderful people on campus. These are the best of the best. If there's a concern and these people do not live up to the expectations that are expected of them, that will also be handled. So please take that into consideration when voting. But once again, happy to answer any questions because this is part of the process. Fall retreat. So this has been a thing. The final date that is set is September 16th. The tentative time is 6 p.m. The contract is being worked on right now between myself and the Buchanan Club in Ross-Ade, which is where it will be. Programming and myself will be working to send out maps, where to park, all that fun stuff, which elevator to go to as it comes closer. But for now, things that we are figuring out need to happen quickly because they're a part of the contract, and that takes a little bit of time. Those things include food, whether we need risers, mics, different things along that line. But a schedule of the event, food options, Google Drives, Google Forms, all that stuff will be sent out as quickly as we possibly can. It's just taking a little bit more time than I expected. But the Camp T thing, if anybody had heard anything about that, not happening. So this Buchanan Club retreat is going to serve both as a formal session to get information to everybody in the org, and also a social time for us to be together and get to know one another as well. The time will be divided accordingly for that. I think that's it. The rest of the things are, there is a master roster in the Google Drive. Please feel free to go in there yourself, put your Purdue email and the college that you are representing within Senate. That would help myself and Olivia out a lot so that we don't have to go through and do that. BOD is updated, cabinet is updated, and we just need court and Senate. So whenever you find yourself with some free time in this next week, please do that.
Thank you, Vince. I also just wanted to apologize for telling you the previous date. We did have to move the retreat just about some COVID concerns, and we just prefer to keep it on campus as much as possible to keep everyone safe. Do we have any other executive reports at this time? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey guys, it's Eric. My executive report is just regarding court. We will hear our first cases next Tuesday, and I'm proud to say that we have restocked our roster, and I am really looking forward to getting to work with all these people this semester.
Awesome. Any other executive reports? Senator or Pro Temp Reynolds?
I just wanted to say that thank everybody at caucus who talked with your committees. We need to get more chairs elected. So I know CSRA is trying to meet, IAA is going to meet, UAA. Please be checking Slack. Download it on your phones. We're going to start using it a lot now that PSG is starting to get rolling. But we need to have elections definitely before the next Senate meeting, hopefully by this weekend. So we need to get chairs done. So check Slack, please. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other executive reports? Seeing none, we'll move into committee reports. This is any Senate committees or any ad hoc committees. If anybody has anything they'd like to share. Senator Dodona.
As mentioned before, the Safer Ad Hoc Committee is still working on their big draft of the recommendation action plan for sexual assault on campus. So if anyone wants to work with that, we're finalizing it. Should be on your guys' plates by next Senate session, but there's still room to be worked on. So if anyone's interested in working on it or want to help, please reach out.
Go ahead, Vince.
Sorry, one more thing I just remembered. In the Slack, please, if you haven't joined, please do. Within the Slack in the Everyone PSG channel, there is something that is pinned. That is a form that I need everybody to fill out because it is what we're going to use to get your name tags that you'd see, like the black and gold ones, as well as your polo size for the year as well. So please, the sooner the better on that. I totally understand if your roster updating is a little bit later, but that's something that is of timeliness because underground printing takes about 2 weeks to get shirts and stuff back to us, and as well as the imprinted name tags, those can take even a little bit longer, and they're very expensive, so we want to make sure that we put the correct thing on that. If you have a preferred name, pronouns, different things along that line, that's the place to put it. If not, we're going to assume that you do not want a name tag because they are about $70 per, so if you do not fill out the form, you will not be receiving one. Thank you.
And you can come find me after the meeting if you're not added to the Slack. Moving on to informal discussion. Starting an informal discussion at this time. Senator Dodona?
This is sort of an open question, but particularly for Pro Temp Reynolds as well as nominee Stowe. I know there hasn't been any other ad hoc legislation that's come through Senate, and I was wondering if either of those two known previous members could talk about maybe those committees come back or any other new committees that are possibly going to be approved by Senate.
Yeah, I can speak really fast on Mental Health Action Week. So we've actually, Shannon and I spoke a little bit with Dr. King about maybe whether MHA should be a permanent place within board of directors, whether it should be an ad hoc committee. So, the inner workings and kind of, the things that will come out of MHA will be exactly the same, but it's placed structurally within the org. We're just going to maybe take a little bit of time for reflection and bring some legislation to you all if necessary. Any other informal discussion? Senator Ferguson?
This question is either directed at you, VP Wyrick, or Vince. For Senate Survival Day, I know that you're directing people to the governing docs, but is that still a plan for this semester? Is that going to happen at the fall retreat? What's the plan for that?
Fall retreat. Yep, we plan on having some kind of breakout session where we'll have a mini survival day with every single branch. So everyone will get kind of an orientation, but we'll still allocate time for, kind of like Dr. McCuskey said, to really build those networks and get to know everyone. Any other formal discussion? Moving on to old business. Do I hear any old business? Moving on to new business. Just as a form of etiquette and a note, senators, if you would like to be recognized by the chair, please raise your name placard. Do I hear any new business at this time? Go ahead.
Motion to bring up Bill 2110.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2110, the cabinet appointment, the co-directors of strategic planning and assessment, Martha Eaton and Sahana Rayan. Sorry if I mispronounced her name. This bill is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. We'll start with discussion from the authors. Vince, would you like to share a little bit? Yeah, I accept that. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, so you're going to see a common trend amongst the co-EDs where you will see most likely one returner and then a new face. This was done intentionally to not allow for fatigue of positions, ironically enough, with me saying that, but at the same time allow for new people that have not been involved in campus or people that I have come across or other people I've been in leadership positions with have come across and have recommended to come to student government. As far as Martha is concerned, she was in PSG last year as a director of strategic planning and assessment. She is ready for the role. She's ready to step up and take that responsibility. As far as Sahana, I'm literally looking at her resume right now to refresh my memory, and the god of statistics on campus, guaranteed. I'll read a few things for you. President of the American Statistical Association, Purdue chapter. So this is a national organization, which means that you then represent Purdue to the National Association. The Director of Analytics for the fraternity, campus outreach member, both CS and statistics, data analytic assistant for Purdue College of Science. I can keep going, but honestly, I don't think it's necessary. Data is the number one thing that SPNA deals with, not just breaking down the data that we get, but the most effective way to gain that data from the students around us. These two people are meant for the job, and I'm happy to take any questions as well, but please feel free to direct them at the applicants and the nominees as well, because they're the ones that are going to be doing it.
Is there any other discussion? Senator Chris?
Vince, I just have one question for you. Why is it that on so many of these appointments that there's directors for so many of them when that hasn't happened historically?
I guess you could say it is learning on the job, what works best, and trying to prioritize students' mental health in tangible terms. We talk about it a lot. Here's a physical, tangible outcome from it. You don't want the workload to be on everybody's shoulders constantly, and then the progress of the committee to stop when somebody has exams, quizzes, a family issue for the week. This stuff happens. You can't plan for it sometimes, and we don't want the workings of PSG to stop along with that. That's part of it, and we are also hoping to add more people to the committee as well and max out our numbers according to the Constitution for each committee so that our initiatives can be more broad and go further across campus.
President Kang?
Yeah, also just to follow up on that, the co-executive directors, I came from BOD, that's where I started in PSG, and I see so much potential in what they do and how specific their work is in terms of that committee. So we decided to do 2 because it's, like Vin said, it is a lot of work, and hopefully that way the directors will have 2 point people to be able to execute more activities and plans for the student body.
Seeing no further discussion, we'll move, Senator Dodona. Again, everyone, we do have a lot of legislation to get to, so let's be respectful of everyone's time. Senator Dodona.
My question was primarily for the applicants, if they could talk a little bit about their past experience and skills that make them qualified for this position.
Yeah, Martha, would you like to speak first?
Yes, like Vince said, I was on this committee last year and I learned so much. At the end of the year, I did kind of take over that executive director role, and we had amazing opportunities for the fall survey as well as a COVID survey, and working with Purdue administration on our surveys, and they actually ended up using our data. So that was super cool. Outside of student government, I'm involved in a lot of other organizations and leadership experience in the past. Yeah.
As for me, like Vince said, I've been in many roles similar to this. In particular, there was an analytics initiative in my fraternity, and I was the director of it, and we dealt with a lot of survey data as a part of the position. Apart from that, I'm a data assistant in the College of Science, and my work is, again, dealing with survey data. And my statistics coursework helps me prepare for a position like this. As for leadership, I've been a president of the Statistics Club on campus. I'm also a part of the Purdue Science Student Council. Yeah.
Is there any other discussion? Senator Ferguson?
Yes, just really quick. And I just want to direct this, as Vince said, we have had a lot of burnout in these positions, and specifically to Sahana, you're involved in so many things. How are you going to balance all of these things you're involved with plus this co-ED?
That's a great question. I'm enrolled in only 12 credits this semester. My coursework in general is relatively easy. I've always had like a course load like this, and I've always been involved in so many clubs. The past 2 years I can recall I've been super involved on campus, and I've managed to keep my grades up, at the same time be very involved in all these initiatives and campus organizations.
Ooh, I'm not on. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote on a Bill 2110. All those in favor, please raise your name placard. All those opposed, same sign. All those that abstain. Motion passes unanimously, 22-0. Congratulations, Martha and Suhana. Give them a clap. A clap, a clap. Senator Dona?
I'm just curious, are the nominees while voting supposed to be removed from the chamber? Is that not part of the founding documents?
They are supposed to be removed? Okay. Beginner, newbie, error. So let's go ahead and re-vote. Martha and Suhana, would you guys mind stepping out for a moment? Thank you, Senator Dodona, for drawing that to my attention. Just give them a couple seconds. Okay, we're going to attempt to do this one more time. All those in favor of Bill 2110, please raise your name placards. All opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Bill 2110 passes unanimously, 22-0. You can go ahead and bring it back on. Do I hear any other new business? Mr. Fairchild?
Yes. Madam Chair, I'm an appointee parliamentarian, but just to, again, respect everyone's time. It is possible to combine all of these bills that have to do with appointment into one resolution and pass that, seeing as long as all senators give a unanimous vote. I do appreciate hearing everyone's stories, but if we go through that with all 18 nominees, we're going to be here for probably till tomorrow. So that is a possibility. So I don't know if I have the power to do so, being an appointee, but if some senator would like to move to combine all appointment-related bills into one resolution, that would be pretty cool.
And the chair will entertain a motion to combine bills 2111 through 2116. So those are just the board of directors appointments, and then we can move on with further business. Senator Brenda?
Madam President, I move to combine bills 2111 through 2116.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to combine bills 2111 through bills 2116. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Senator Dodona?
This is definitely not as an attempt to negate anyone's time by any means, because there is a lot of bills. However, I do feel that as a senator, it's important for us to have these conversations, as that is our constitutional duty. So that's one reason I will not be voting for this, simply because I believe that each of these individuals deserve to be heard and communicated with. And so that's one of the reasons I don't support combining this legislation.
Thank you, Senator Dodona. Is there any other discussion? Senator Braun, correct? Okay, go ahead.
I'm not sure
about
the process of this. Would there be a way to hear from the appointees and then vote on whether or not we would?
Yeah, so yes, so what we can do is we can vote to combine all the bills, and then once we do that, we'll be voting on the block of all of them together, and we can allocate time for everyone to speak, give a little bit of spiel, and Vince can even maybe speak a little bit more, but it's more of combining the formality of having to vote every time. So yes, we can still hear from every single appointee respectively, but this is just kind of a little bit of a shorter avenue to respect all of our time as students. Is there any other discussion? Senator Ferguson?
And I apologize for playing devil's advocate on that, but as it's our constitutional duty to appoint each and every one, and yes, it does feel like every single person is going to be appointed, there is a chance someone would not. Mm-hmm. And this would take out that possibility, basically. So if anyone wants to take that into consideration, I do just want to point that out.
Thank you, Lily. Is there any other discussion? Okay, we will now move to, we'll now vote to combine bills 2111 through 2116. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. Please raise them really high so I can count. Thank you. Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstain? Awesome. With a motion, or with a vote of 13 to 8 to 1, we are voting to combine bills 21 through 11. So next, let's go ahead and allow, so 2111 through 2116, I'll just flip through them really fast. So that's the co-executive directors of diversity and inclusion, Izzy and Kaylee, co-EDs of engagement, Andrew Jensen and Maddie Woodrow, ED of governmental relations, Olivia Kenna, co-ED Jay Woodson and May Shu, and co-ED Supriya, I'm so sorry, and Sam Zhang, and ED of technology Matthew Choi, sorry. Okay, so, my goodness. Go ahead, Senator or Pro Temp.
Bill 2114 and 2115 have the possibility of being tabled because those people are not here. Just wanted to remind you. I also forgot.
The chair will entertain a motion to table, and that vote is through voice acclamation. So, would you like to motion to table bills 2114 and 2115?
Point of order.
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean we have to table all of those bills since we just put them all together?
No, it is possible. First off, you can't table parliamentary rules. You can't table anything beyond the current meeting. If you want to postpone something to the next meeting, that's possible, but tabling is a term reserved for something happening within that meeting. You can withdraw 2 of those specific. You'd have to amend it. You'd have to first have an amendment to withdraw those 2 out, and then you would have to postpone it.
Okay, thank you, Senator Brenda. So the chair will entertain a motion to postpone, correct? Is that right? Amend the motion of doing 2111 through 2116 by removing 2114 and 2115 and postponing them to our next meeting. Yes, Senator Donana.
Point of order. I believe that if the spirit of the previous motion was to include all director bills, I believe we missed some. I believe the communication committee was not part of that. That's fine. We don't have to include them, but I just wanted it to be pointed out.
Okay, well, that's fine. We can come back to them anyway. Thank you. Is there, the chair will entertain a motion to amend. Senator Ashby.
Madam President, I move to amend the previous stated motion by striking out 14 and 15 and adding 18.
Awesome, thank you.
I second.
Thank you. This has been properly moved and seconded to amend the bill. Is there any, this is amendable, oh my goodness, so sorry. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will go ahead and vote. All those in favor, go ahead and raise your name placards. It's probably easier. Okay, all those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Okay, that amendment passes unanimously. Thank you all again for your flexibility. This is all of our first times going through this, so again, thank you so much. Senator Brenda.
So at this time, would you entertain a motion to postpone 14 and 15 to next meeting?
Yes.
I move to postpone bills 2114 and 2115 to next meeting.
Second.
Second. This has been properly moved and seconded that we postpone bills 2114 and 15. Amendable, debatable, requires a majority vote. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll attempt to take this vote by voice acclamation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Thank you. So now we'll go ahead and move on. Again, sorry for the little bit of confusion there, but so we will now be discussing as a conglomerate 2112, 2113, 2116, and 2118. Senator Brenda.
To make it official here, I would like to yield, 6 minutes of my time to Vince to discuss any of these people, if you would like.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you for the time. Truthfully, I would like to pass my time on to the nominees to express why they're so interested in their positions, as well as fielding kind of popcorn questions from the Senate. I'm happy to do that. I also realize that some positions do seem to carry the brunt of the workload as far as boots on the ground engaging activities with the rest of campus, and you as senators might feel like those nominations you want to weigh in a little bit more heavily than some others. So please feel free to do that. I'd rather give my time up to whoever else needs it, and then I'm happy to field any questions that you may have.
Turn my mic back on. We'll go ahead, Izzy and Kaylee, if you'd like to go ahead first. You can just say a few words.
I was involved in PSG last year. I was involved in Senate. I do not have the time for that this year, so I will be doing hopefully the co-ED position. Diversity and inclusion is very important to me as a disabled queer woman on campus. It's very important to me to make sure that everyone feels like they have a home at Purdue, and I hope to participate in making that home for people.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Hi everyone, my name is Izzy. I was on PSG last year actually in this committee, and I learned so much about the importance of diversity and inclusion for all of my peers. I have always found myself being an advocate for students with disabilities as a student with a disability. And when I learned about Purdue student government, I felt like I could amplify my own voice and my own experiences as well as the experiences of my peers. And while I do feel like I represent students with disabilities well, I want to say that I'm not limited to that, and I'm always looking to learn and represent everyone.
Perfect. Andrew and Maddie, would you like to share a little bit?
Hi, I'm Maddie. I was on the engagement committee last year. I had a lot of fun, and I feel like I got some good experience planning and organizing a bunch of events that were really successful. I also won like the MVP of my committee award last year, but yeah, I enjoyed my experience, and I wanted to kind of take on more responsibility within it, so thank you.
I am Andrew Jensen. I have had multiple experiences with programming on campus throughout one specific being an RA on campus and having over 60 freshmen and providing opportunities for them to engage with each other as well as the campus, and then learning about PSG and hearing that there was a position in PSG that did that but on a grander scale. I was glad to be able to apply for that.
Perfect. Olivia?
Hi everyone, I'm Olivia. I was the Director of Governmental Relations last year, and fun fact about Governmental Relations last year, I am the only director still standing. We had 3 different executives, so I was there through it all, so I have learned a decent amount of what goes into it, through more stress than good, but that's okay. When I'm not doing PSG, you will find me as the president of the Pre-Law Society, as well as in my con law classes and other governmental relations courses, so I am pretty well versed and ready for this role.
Matthew?
Hi guys, I'm Matt. I was a director of technology last year, and I think last year was a very big turning point in the technology committee, especially when it comes to the website, and I was really happy to be a part of that and want to continue growing this committee.
Summer and Anna?
Hi everyone, just in case you guys didn't catch it last time, my name is Summer Fately, and this is actually my first year hopefully being involved with student government, and I'm very excited. I specifically applied for communications because I believe communications and making connections with the student body and the student government and colleges as a whole on campus is so important to creating a spirited and close-knit student body. You know, we're all Boilermakers, we all bleed black and gold, and I really want to be a part of helping that. I've had a lot of experience with communication. Basically every organization I've been involved in on campus has somehow been related to communicating with others and keeping that communication line open. For example, I am publicity chair for the College of Health and Human Sciences Student Council, and getting to see that impact of creating a closer community just within the college has really inspired me to try to create a close-knit campus as a whole through student government. So that's the reason why I am trying to get appointed for this position, and I thank you guys for your time.
Go ahead.
All right, refresher, I'm Anna. I am in the College of Health and Human Sciences as well. I think it's really important to make students love Purdue just as much as I do, at risk of sounding cliche. I work for the Office of Admission, so I am a tour guide. You will see me pretty much all over campus this semester. Feel free to say hi if you do. My job is literally to communicate with people all the time. I think it's really important for students to be engaged with our campus, to also feel that same love for our campus. If they don't engage with activities or participate in programs on our campus, they will not feel connected to it. So making them aware of the things going on, the resources they have available is super important. I am part of the College of Health and Human Sciences Success Mentor Program on the core leadership team, and I do run our communication, so social media pages. Just for some numbers, the last I checked, our engagement over the summer since I took over is up over 400% just on Instagram alone. So being able to effectively communicate with people interested in our programs, and I feel that I can contribute that same type of success with our program here. I met Summer just last week. We are both Purdue student government newbies. We talk pretty much every single day. She does a great job communicating with our board, so big kudos to her. And I have also put a lot of spreadsheets together. I think we're at 6 so far, as well as forms so people can submit to us any content they want shared. So far, we made a pretty good team, even though we are both fresh to this program. So if you have any questions about both of us being new here as well, we're more than happy to take those.
Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I can just speak from personal experience, just getting to meet you guys here. And Shannon, Vince, and I read all of your applications. Can't endorse this group any higher. Senator Chris?
Yeah, since it's been a point made many times here tonight, can each of the applicants kind of go through how they're going to budget their time and make sure that they don't end up leaving halfway through? Because that's something that has happened so many times in the past. We're trying to mitigate that as much as possible.
Chief of Staff Ray Felt, go ahead.
I think I'll answer your question with this. So several of the people that you saw, quote unquote, leave were asked to last year. Very few people voluntarily left. No EDs voluntarily left. The people that were replaced were asked to leave for not living up to the standards or for posing issues within the group. Two things that I have zero time or respect for. So that is what you're seeing. It's not a byproduct of people being burnt out or not sacrificing their time or budgeting it correctly. It was a direct result of me asking them to leave. So if that's a concern, once again, happy to give examples of that, although I don't think it's that professional or important considering they're no longer at the school. But that is a result of those instances.
Senator Chris, would you still like any other question to be asked?
No, that answers it pretty much.
Awesome, thank you. Is there any other discussion? Senator Dodona?
Yes, I was hoping that some of the nominations could go through what they want their unique direction in taking each of the individual committees briefly.
Okay, we can go and start down there if that's easier.
In terms of communication with our committee, I think one of the perks of having co-executive directors, as they've mentioned previously in this meeting, being able to reach more people, being able to promote more opportunities on campus for our students, being able to put events together that can impact more of our student body instead of focusing on just specific communities on our campus, being able to help as many people as possible, and reliably communicating on various platforms, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, being able to reach as many people as possible, as opposed to just relying on, say, one form of social media, which I think was fairly heavy. Instagram, as I know, was really, really focused on in the past years, but being able to branch out and reliably put content on all platforms.
So since I'm new to the committee, I recently got to learn about what the committee worked on last year, and looked into the reports that we made with the survey, and I realized a couple of things, and I'd like to work on making more readable visualizations for some of the reports. I've also learned that outreach for our committee is a bit lacking in the past, so I want to work towards like putting our name out there, hoping to reach out like internal parts of our people, making sure people actually use the services that we provide. And hopefully if everyone on our committee is open to it, we'd also like to reach out to other organizations outside of PSG and see if they're open to using our services, and hoping to like help them out in optimizing their organization, making things help them run things more smoothly.
So as Anna and I are both new to PSG, we have been talking about every day and trying to just really brainstorm a bunch of events and different ways to communicate with the student body in the best way, especially coming out of a pandemic. I know this is like a strange transition time, and something we talked about is getting involved on every social media platform and really reaching out, because I know for some students they're still not comfortable going back in person yet, and they do want those like social media outreach programs because it's just easier for them and it's their preference. So we definitely want to be involved on all social media platforms to make sure every student is getting reached, especially as technology is like becoming more popular every single day with our generation. But we also talked about implementing more in-person events, hopefully, obviously, safely and following all regulations to make sure that we are getting a little bit more in-person activity so students can get out there and meet each other as they're able to. You know, the freshmen that came in last year that weren't able to, and the freshmen coming in now, make sure they get that experience doing that safely and working with many different colleges so we can reach students from every college and not just one specific area of campus, but really making that a net of connections and programming and everything.
Kind of echoing what Sahana said, something I really want to focus on as well is going beyond just creating surveys for us and reaching out to other committees, helping with legislation, and just other organizations at Purdue to kind of work with them on how to effectively gather data and use that to expand upon their initiatives and kind of further their programming, whether that's in student government or on campus as a whole.
I understand I'm a part of Bill 14, and I understand that we had to table that because my co-executive director isn't here. But I was wondering if it would be possible for me to give my quick spiel today, and then if they were be able to vote next meeting when Jade is here, and then if I could just give my spiel at this meeting and potentially not have to come back to, if that's okay. I don't know if that's.
So let's maybe consider that after the passing of this bill, because we could maybe consider a friendly amendment to just strike Jade's name, go ahead and maybe appoint you, and then do her half of the bill next week or 2 weeks from now. So we'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. So Kaylee and I have talked about this a lot, where we want to take diversity and inclusion this year. And something that's really important to us is education. Education is really valuable for letting people know more about experiences that they may not share with other people. It can help them better develop empathy and also understanding of their peers. Something that we focused on last year within our committee was educating campus, not only through the use of professional speaker series and mental health awareness events, but also through more casual events. And we definitely want to keep this momentum going, but also expand to other areas of campus. One goal that we have specifically is to reach out to the LGBTQ plus Cultural Center and do a collaboration with them. And we also want to take additional steps with the Disability Resource Center, since we weren't able to last year, but rest assured we do want to work with all of the cultural centers on campus and really make sure that everyone feels included and that Purdue is their home, because it is, and they should feel like that.
So for our committee this year, I'm really hoping to do more paneling events. As you guys know, we did a bunch of political paneling events as well as environmental action events. We have joined with multiple other communities in the past, and I want to keep that up. I want to work with Political Discourse Club again. We worked with the Environmental Club again. There's a lot of different routes we want to take. We also want to do the state house again in the spring. We did not get to do that because of COVID, so that will be my first time doing that. But I have a lot of different facets I want to go into with expanding the political knowledge on campus as well with the government and policy.
All right, so my goal for the tech committee is mainly focused on growth. If you saw us at the banquet last year, we had 2 members and 1 executive. We are currently triple that now. We are at 6 committee members, and I hope to expand this role and start to train all my other committee members, hopefully, so they could be executives and hold high retention rates inside the committee.
So my personal goals for the engagement committee this year are to just kind of get more events put together. I know last year it was really hard to plan anything and get it approved, so I would just really like to see more events that bring the student body together and get them involved and engaged and just like bonding and doing fun things on campus. I'd also really like to focus on partnering with other student organizations because we didn't really have a ton of outreach, but I think that being able to share events with other student orgs and give them some of the spotlight too would be really helpful. As well as kind of getting better like internal committee communication and getting the other directors feeling like they're really involved and like they're part of it too.
As Maddie talked about, just getting the student body engaged, as is in our committee name, the Engagement Committee. I know that a lot of freshmen and a lot of sophomores coming in have never had a normal Purdue campus, and for us to try to provide that for them would be a goal of mine. Also, to be able to, as last year PSG was the #1 student org on campus, to be able to reach out to all the students on campus and show them that that is true this year as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for addressing that question. Is there any other discussion at this time? President King? Would anybody like to yield 2 minutes to the president? Senator Friendland?
I yield 2 minutes to President King.
Thank you so much. Stellar, right? I hope you guys are thinking the same thing as I am. This summer it was an absolute pleasure reading through their applications and just the fact that they were shining through their applications, and we are sitting here today finally getting to appoint them and hopefully welcoming them with open arms into our organization is really exciting. They have gone above and beyond my expectations. I really thought the application was the best I was getting, but it's even more than that. So I hope you guys, again, stellar. I hope are you thinking that and vote accordingly.
Is there any other discussion at this time? Seeing none, we will vote to approve bills 21, 11, 12, 13, 16, and 18. All those in favor, please raise your name placard. Oh yes, please, thank you so much. Please step outside. Yeah, you can leave your stuff. And again, senators and guests, thank you so much for your flexibility. These are growing pains, these are transition pains, and I'm really grateful for your guys' grace towards me and your patience, so thank you so much. I'm smiling behind the mask, but you can't tell. I think our people are finally outside. Perfect. Senators, all those in favor, please raise your name placards. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Someone want to go grab me? Okay. While we're getting everyone back in here, for the sake of time, we'll go ahead and hear any new business. Like this one. Senator Chris.
Motion to bring up Bill 2117.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2117, the cabinet appointment of our ABTS liaison, Addie Singh. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. I can go ahead and open it up to discussion really fast. I met Addie last year through Shannon, actually, as a mutual friend, and I can just really speak to his ability to connect with others, his ability to advocate for Purdue and the needs of Purdue student government at the ABTS level. Shannon and I were fortunate enough to kind of connect with ABTS initially this summer and kind of learn a lot about how they function. And for those of you who don't know, the Association of Big Ten Students seeks to not only represent all 14 Big Ten schools, but they also are kind of our advocacy pipeline at the federal and state levels. So ABTS is kind of sort of a lobbying group in a sense. And I know that Addie and his skill set and his experience and the characteristics that he's bringing to PSG really exemplify what is needed in the ABTS role. Is there any other discussion? Shannon, would you like to add anything? Go ahead, President King. Oh, Senator Brenda.
I yield 2 minutes of my time to President King.
Thank you.
just like the executive directors, our cabinet picks, I mean, I'm so confident in them. And with Addie specifically, we've taken several classes together. He's not only shined in the classroom, he also shines outside of the classroom. He's a really ambitious and hardworking person. He's actually an international student, and it's insane how much he tries to connect with his classmates here. And also he brings a really unique perspective to how ABTS can communicate with one another. And I'm sure that when he reports back to us about the happenings of ABTS, they're going to be clear, concise, and we're going to know exactly what to do with it. So I'm really excited to hopefully have Addie on board.
Awesome. Is there any other discussion? Senator Dodona?
I was hoping that the nominee could talk a little bit how their past experience and skills make them qualified for this position.
First of all, good evening, senators, and thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Shannon. Really nice. And, okay, so I was in PSG last year. I was a director for diversity and inclusion. I was so honored to work with my EDs, Tyler and Zeba. They were amazing people. So yeah. Also in the LGBTQ caucus for the ABTS, so I kind of know how they work and like what they expect. But like because of COVID, we couldn't do a lot last year. So I'm hoping that this year we can do like a lot more events and like together. So yeah.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to vote on Bill 2117. Addie, could you go ahead and step out for a moment? Senator, all those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Those who abstain. Bill 2117 passes unanimously. Do I hear any other new business at this time? Senator de Guzman? Okay, go ahead.
Motion to bring up Bill 2114 and talk about Jade's name.
Okay, so is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2114. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. And the chair would entertain an amendment to strike Jade's name, and we can do her appointment potentially at the next meeting. Senator Brenda?
I believe it might be more efficient to just split the bill into an A and B. 2114A with May on it and 2114B with Jade. So that way you don't have to represent the same bill next. Like you don't have to create a new bill. You
Okay.
just split it.
I understand what you're saying. So A would be Jade and B would be May.
Yeah, and then we just entertained one of them.
Okay.
I move to split Bill 2114 into 2114A, Jade Woodson, and 2114B, May Shu.
Quick point of order.
Yeah, I think we have to untable or like because we already voted to remove it from the docket. So I think that if we're going to do this, we have to add it.
Bring it back to the docket.
Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. This is why we're all here. You guys are acting on your civic duty and your duty as senators and keeping us accountable.
And I also have to bring up
Senator Brenda?
Sorry, that would require 2/3 of the senators in presence have to vote to
bring it back to the table?
Yeah, to renege on a previous
Okay,
vote.
that's fine. So the chair will entertain a motion to bring 2114 back to the floor. Senator Dodona?
Motion to bring Bill 2114 back to the floor.
Second. This is properly moved and seconded to bring Bill 2114 back to the floor. This is amendable and debatable and requires a 2/3 majority vote. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placard. All those opposed, same sign. Those who abstain, that motion passes. So now Bill 2114 has been brought back to the floor and the chair will entertain a motion to split them. Senator Ashby?
I move to split Bill 2114
Into 2114A, Jade Woodson, and 2114B, May Sue.
Second.
This has been properly moved and seconded to bring to split Bill 2114 into A and B parts. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placard. All those opposed, same sign. Those who abstain? Okay. The motion to split the bill passes. So I will now entertain a motion to bring up Bill 2114B, the cabinet appointment of co-executive director of programming, May Shu. Senator Ashby.
I move to postpone definitely to the next meeting, 2114A.
Okay. Second. It has been properly moved and seconded to postpone 2114A. It's amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. So we will table 2114A to the next meeting. And I will now entertain a motion for 2114B. Senator Fridlin.
I motion to bring forward Bill 2114B.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to bring about Bill 2114B. Again, this is the co-executive director of programming, just May Shu this time. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Senator Brenda.
I would like to yield 4 minutes of my time for the nominee to field any questions from.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our nominee? Senator Dodona?
If the nominee could talk a little bit about their experiences and what makes them qualified for this position, as well as what they want to take this direction of this committee for.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for doing all of that. I appreciate it. So my name is May. I'm looking to be appointed for co-executive director of programming. I've been a part of PSG since my freshman year, spring semester. I'm currently a junior. I actually started in the Senate, so I kind of know parliamentary procedure, not quite. So then my sophomore year, I joined programming committee just as a general director. And with COVID, it was really difficult. We didn't get quite the turnout that we wanted, but we had some really solid ideas that I definitely want to implement more this year. And basically what programming is, it's the internal kind of structure of Purdue student government. So we are on the board of directors, but we're kind of just there to support all student government members like you guys. So as executive director now, I am really wanting to focus on bigger events, just monthly, specifically just for student government. So kind of planning that fall retreat that Vince was talking earlier about, the one that's going to be at the Buchanan Club in Ross Aid. So helping plan that, make the menu, just get all the details of that organized. Something that I'm really excited for working on currently, and I already submitted the APF, so hopefully it'll come through and come to fruition. I'm trying to think of a ball. It's a masquerade ball right now. We're still trying to figure out all the details for it, but that's something that I'm really looking forward to. So just big bonding events that should be fun and just help build the culture of student government. The other organizations that I've been a part of, currently I'm vice president of Purdue Science Student Council. I really love it there. It's super fun. I just help the president really help all the committees if they need help planning events, filling out APFs. So I also put on our biggest event this past 2 weeks. It's new student orientation for the College of Science. And I kind of just headed that and planned for the over 1,000 freshmen that enrolled to the College of Science, just the new student orientation. So that was super fun. So I have a lot of experience in planning bigger events and help building the culture of organizations. I'm also an honors mentor for the honors mentor program. So I also mentor about 8 freshmen. And this is my second year of doing that. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Awesome, thank you, May. Is there any other discussion or questions for our appointee? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. May, would you like to go ahead and exit the room at this time? We have a few seconds. Okay. All those in favor of Bill 2114B, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations, May. Is there any other new business? Senator Brenda.
I move to entertain Bill 2122.
Second. I second.
There we go. Was there a second? Senator
Second.
Ashby. It's been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2122, the legislative appointment of our parliamentarian, Nate Fairchild. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. I'll go ahead and kick off discussion. I have known Nate Fairchild since our probably pretty cringy freshman of high school days, but he has been a near and dear friend to me, a good mentor to me, and he is the resident expert on parliamentary procedure to make sure I never do this again. But I can just speak to Nate's involvement in FFA, just like other senators that we have here tonight, and just kind of his experience following Robert's Rules of Order. And my hope, even as parliamentary, not only will our meetings, run effectively and correctly, but hopefully all of you can take a piece of Parley with you, and so you can apply it to the professional meetings and kind of formal business meetings that you'll have past Purdue. So that's just a little bit about Nate. Does anybody have any questions or discussion at this time? Senator Ashby?
I'd just like to point out to everyone that if we appoint Nate now, he can stay around and make sure this meeting runs efficiently and correctly for the remainder of the meeting. No offense to anyone involved so far.
None taken. Is there any other discussion? Senator Brenda?
Yeah, I just wanted to say attest to Mr. Fairchild's character and how great he is. I've known him since, I think I was a sophomore and he was a freshman in high school. And he's a great guy, and he knows a lot about Parley. We used to joke about it a lot when we were in high school, and hopefully we get rid of some of the cringy little nuances that make my soul die just slightly every time they happen in here. So,
any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move into a vote on Bill 2122. Nate, could you go ahead and exit for a little bit? All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Those who abstain, Bill 2122 passes unanimously. Thank you. Awesome. Is there any other new business? I can't read your last name. Oh, Senator Terrell, thank you.
I motion to bring up Bill 2123.
Second. Just as a chair, we can do that, but I think it would be a little bit easier to get through the rest of the cabinet appointments first and then go through the justices. Is that okay? Would you like to motion to bring up Bill 2119 instead? Yes.
I motion to bring up Bill 2119. Sorry.
No apologies at all. Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2119, the cabinet appointment of our press secretary, Miyu. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Senator Ferguson.
This isn't really a question, but I do want to, even as a senator, attest to how good of a job Miyu does with this, because I messaged her on Slack all the time last year. All the time. I think I sent her a flyer once a week, and it was up on the social media like that. Mm-hmm. And she is just so good at what she does, and like big snaps to her for everything she does.
Senator Reynolds.
I also want to hop on the hyping up Miyu train. She is awesome. I would also send her more than one flyer a week. Literally just a link sometimes with all the information on a campus slide, and then she would come back with like a flyer, and it was awesome. And I think she's really good for this position. She is patient, and she gets it done, and she's great to work with, and I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. Miyu, would you go ahead and step out for a little bit? All those in favor of Bill 2119, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Those abstentions. Bill 2119 passes unanimously. Is there any other new business? Senator Chris?
Motion to bring up Bill 2120.
Is there a second? It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2120, the cabinet appointment of our Secretary Rania. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion at this time? President Kang? Would someone, Senator Brenda?
I yield 2 minutes of my time to President Kang.
Thank you.
So if anyone doesn't know, Rania is the girl to my right. She is being appointed to secretary. I remember when I saw her application, I was blown away, and I feel like it's hard to fill out an application to be a secretary. I don't know. What do you think? Definitely. So it's really impressive that she stood out among everyone else that applied for secretary. So I'm confident in this position, and I'm really excited to get to know her, and I'm excited for you guys to get to know her as well. So please direct any questions to Rania.
Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote on Bill 2120. Rania, would you like to step out for a little bit? All those in favor of Bill 2120, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Bill 2120 passes unanimously. The chair will entertain any other new business. Remind me of your last name. Oh, Senator Brown, go ahead.
Motion to bring up Bill 2121.
Second. It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up 2121. That seems like a special number. Cabinet appointment of our Senior Policy Advisor, Abby Marson. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion at this time? Would someone like to yield the President 2 minutes? Senator Brenda?
I yield 2 minutes of my time to President Kang.
President Kang?
So my relationship with Abby is we'll fill each other in on like hot topics, and it's awesome. So that's when I knew that Abby would be amazing for this position. And not only that, I think she definitely has the experience of being able to craft out reports and also feel out the campus. Not only is she professional in her job, but she's also has that perfect blend of being a college student. So like she blends in really well with her constituents. So I'm really confident in that she'll do an amazing job. We have 4 pillars to touch on, and she will be able to do it all. So please direct any questions to her, and I am very confident in this appointment.
So any other discussion at this time? Senator Dodona?
This is sort of a niche question, but I know last year the Senior Policy Advisor focused a lot on developing Purdue PSG's Reddit experience. Is that something that you're planning on continuing within your time as Senior Policy Advisor?
Yeah, so I was actually just looking through the transition documents a couple days ago, and that was definitely one of the largest things that he had done. It's something I am interested in continuing. However, I am going to have to get some Reddit lessons as I'm not a pro. But it did seem to engage the campus on the students on campus fairly well. We had some good positive feedback from the Reddit, so that's something I do plan on continuing.
Is there any other discussion at this time? Thank you, Abby. Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. Would you like to go ahead and step out for a second? All those in favor of Bill 2121, please raise your name placards. All opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Bill 2121 passes unanimously. The chair will entertain a motion to postpone Bill 2123, the justice appointment of Rachel Glickner. She is unable to meet with us this evening.
Motion to postpone discussion of Bill 2123 to the next meeting.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to postpone the discussion of Bill 2123. This is not amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placard. All opposed, same sign. I saw you, Senator Merkel. Any abstentions? Perfect. So we will postpone Bill 2123, just for reference, this one, to our next meeting, and the chair will entertain any other new business. Senator Dodonna.
This is a point of order question for people who know more about Robert's rules than I do. Are we required to yield time for authors? Because I'm not sure we did so in the past, and I'm just trying to check.
I missed the first part of your question.
I don't believe in past that we've yielded time to the author of the bill to speak. So like if President King wrote the bill, she didn't have to be yielded time. Is that correct if anyone else knows?
Or parliamentarian, would you like to?
Yeah, so this is my first time ever seeing like time being yielded to any individual speaking on the matter, especially an author of a motion. They have the first guaranteed debate on the motion. So as we continue forward, I don't believe it's necessary to yield any time to President Kang as long as she was one of the authors of said bill.
Okay, that's good to know moving forward. Thank you, Senator Dodonna. Thanks, Nate, for clarifying that. Is there any other new business? Senator Brenda?
I move to combine bills 2124 through 2126, the justice appointments.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to combine 2124, 2125, and 2126 together into one piece of legislation. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placard. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Seeing none, motion passes to combine all three of those bills. So we'll now be entertaining a motion to bring up the combined 2124 through 2126 together. Senator Fridlin.
I motion to bring up the combined 24 through 2126.
Perfect.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to bring up the combined piece of legislation. This is amendable, debatable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion on our justice appointments at this time? Senator Ashby?
I move to grant a minute of my time to each of the appointees.
Would you like to go ahead and maybe just share a little bit about yourself, your maybe experience on Senate or experience on campus in general? And you can start in any order.
Hi everyone, my name is Arwa Rashad. This is my second year at PSG, my first year as a justice, and I'm really excited to work with y'all. On campus, you'll see me running around with the Pakistani Student Association or Pi Sigma Alpha, which is the Political Science Honor Society. I am really interested in working with all of you. Last year I did everything online, so I never got the in-person experience, but I'm really excited to be here and just be involved all over again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robert. This is my first year with PSG, but I do have experience in like the judicial side of Purdue student organizations. I'm on the Community Standards Board, and we've dealt with similar things that we'll be dealing with here as a justice. I do have experience also in the courthouse, so I am familiar with how these kinds of proceedings work.
My name is Alec Young. This is my first year in PSG. I'm excited to get to know everybody. I mostly applied to this position because I'm really interested in law as well as government, student government. I'm currently doing a law internship, and I think this is a good way to get involved in something kind of related as an undergrad. So yeah, I look forward to meeting everybody, and yeah, forward to having the opportunity.
Senator Dodonna.
I'd like to yield 2 minutes to the Chief Justice to talk a little bit about the process of appointing these individuals.
Thank you, Senator. You can go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I will be very clear with everyone when I tell you that there were a total of 5 of us who are returning to court this year. We have a very young group, and you know, it falls to me primarily to make sure everyone knows how to responsibly handle these cases, and I am going to be providing them with all the training materials they need to make sound decisions on day one. I am very, very capable of their abilities, and Arwa, we came up together as court members last year. I have full faith in her, and the appointees who are next to her, they went through an interview process with me in order to get to where they are. It was more than just looking through their application process, because I know that, we're dealing with brand new members who have a lot to learn, and I am very appreciative that I got a chance to get to know them first and understand their decision-making processes. So I have full faith in these individuals, and I hope you guys do too. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Is there any other discussion at this time? Seeing none, we can go ahead and have you three step out. Few more seconds. Okay, well, we'll now be voting on the combined legislation of 2124 through 26. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? The combined bill passes. Congratulations. Eric, if you'd like to go ahead and have them take their oath of office, we can go ahead and get that done quickly as well. Hello?
Alrighty, thank you. Alrighty, can you guys hear me? Yep. All right, so feel free to just repeat after me, and you can all speak at the same time. So repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I, Robert Calic Young.
On this day of September 1st, 2021. Swear to abide by and uphold. The bylaws and the Constitution. Of the Purdue Student Government. I swear. To conduct all judicial business. With just and ethical intent. In the interest of achieving a fair resolution. Congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations to our three new court justices. Is there any other new business at this time? Senator Terrell?
I motion to bring up Bill 2127.
Second.
It's been properly moved up. Oh my goodness, cannot talk now. Properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2127, the passage of the 2121 through 2122 PSG budget. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. I can now go ahead and turn it over to Sean if you'd like to speak a little bit about it.
Does this one work? Is it working?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, the light's just broken. So for this year's budget, it looks very similar to last year's budget, but we also kind of looked back to 2 years ago, the last pre-COVID budget, because that definitely, the past years, it's affected the spending. But it has very similar themes to last year. The biggest change was we wanted to increase the Board of Directors budget, so that has been doubled. You'll see that in there. Also, at the recommendation of the Financial Affairs Committee, which I thought was a very good idea, the ad hoc committees, which there are multiple of, had the same budget as just one committee. So the ad hoc committees overall now has an increased budget, which I thought was a very good recommendation.
Is there any other discussion about 2127? Senator Chris?
Could you just go into more detail, like how much of an increase was that for the ad hoc committees?
A $1,000 increase.
Is there any other discussion? Senator Dodona?
Yeah, so I can give a little more context about sort of what FA did in terms of recommendations. So keep in mind, our budget was increased by $5,000 this year compared to last year. So a lot of that increase in board of director money went particularly there. On top of that, we decided to cut back on the apparel budget, primarily because of believing it would be a little, I can't speak for every FA member, but believing that there were more important things to spend our money on. So we cut that in half. And what we did with that money was we split half of it going towards BOD, so that's $1,500, and then $1,500 going overall to Senate, with $500 being placed in the Senate discretionary fund, and I believe $1,000 being given to ad hoc committees, which would then be split amongst every ad hoc committee. So that gives a little more context of exactly what FA did in regards to rearranging the budget a little bit. And then if any FA members wants to explain a little more of their reasoning, feel free to do so.
Any other discussion at this time? Perfect. Seeing none, we'll move to a vote on Bill 2127, the passage of our budget. Is there, or, oh my goodness, all those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstention? Bill 2127 passes unanimously. Congratulations. Is there any other new business? No? Okay. Yay! Now we're moving on to announcements. Are there any announcements at this time? Dr. King.
Lots of organizations in your colleges. If they have
Thank you, Dr. King. Just one more follow-up announcement from me. If you don't have access to the Slack, come find me afterwards, and you'll be getting an email from us about office hour preferences. Super fun part. Oh, go ahead.
Just a little plug. For the organizations in your colleges, the SOGA Period 1 grant is due Monday, this coming Monday at 11:59. So we have a lot of money to give out. If you have organizations that your friends are in or just in your college, encourage them to apply, and they can email me with any questions.
Senator Terrell?
I just wanted to let everyone know, I know over the summer, planning Meet the Representatives event, and we have been working on that. We're not 100% sure that it's actually going to work due to some communication errors with some of the colleges who are uncertain in these COVID times. But I just wanted everyone to know that that wasn't forgotten about. We have been meeting, we have been reaching out, so we are working on it.
Cool. Thank you so much for your initiative on that, and whoever else is involved in that. That sounds great. President Kang?
I know you guys are probably aware of this, but just for the record, the Senate resolution bill was the first reading of it. So just for the record.
Yes, the budget. That was the first reading of the budget. It has to be passed one more time. Any other announcements? Senate snaps. I personally owe every single one of you a piece of food out of this box. Thank you so much for your patience and your grace and your kindness and your mercy. I really appreciate it. It's a learning curve for all of us. Brand new to this role, and I appreciate you guys for sticking it out. New senators, meetings aren't usually this long. We usually don't have this much legislation. Please don't let this scare you. It does not usually look like this. So are there any Senate snaps? Senator Dodona.
I would like to give a big snap to our treasurer. He came to FA and had to listen to us discuss for 2 hours over the budget and was an awesome sport about it, and we really appreciate him helping us out with this huge task.
Yeah, we put him through the ringer.
I'm actually just going to set this right here, and you can come pick it out afterwards, because I think that might be a little bit more efficient. I'll put some gloves next to it, so we can pick. Remind me of your last name again.
Kurana.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to give a Senate snap to Senator Reynolds for doing a great job as her first time, or like I guess an in-person caucus with like no seating, whatever. You did a great job.
Yeah. And that's good to know. Is there a desire
For Senate, but
with
all of the guests, 3 people at the stand.
Okay. Yeah, and unfortunately the room we used last year was beautifully perfect, but there's an SI session in it all semester. So if there's a desire for a new room, I can look into increased space. Okay, I'll check back in because, yeah, when I went to go reserve it, and I even called like where you call for uni time reservations, and I'll double check with that again and make sure. Maybe we can get back into our old room. Any other Senate snaps? President Kang?
For you, Miss Liv, love you and love having you in the office. And she doesn't look very freaked out right now, but she totally was super nervous. But that's only because she cares about you so much. She cares about the Senate so much and wants it to be efficient, effective, and open, and just productive. So big snaps to you. Keep it up. You did amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
I would like to give one to Senator Dodonna because last meeting she filled in for me and really saved me, so thank you so much. And then also for asking the good questions, the important stuff that I wanted to hear as well this meeting, so thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'd also like to give snaps to Senator Chris, Berenda, and Ashby and Ferguson, not only keeping me in line, but also asking good questions and being kind of resident parley experts, so thank you. Any other Senate snaps? Brenda, go ahead.
Yeah, along the same lines of that, I was going to give snaps to Mr. Fairchild for coming in here because I know that I think this is the first time he's been to a Senate meeting, and it's kind of crazy, and it might be interesting to watch, but he's about to take on a task, and he's very willing to put in that work, but it's going to be work.
Any other Senate snaps? Seeing none, the chair would recognize a motion to adjourn. Senator Chris?
Madam Chair, I move that we do now adjourn.
Second. It has been properly moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. It's not amendable, is not debatable, requires a 2/3 majority vote. We'll attempt to take this vote by voice acclamation. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Yay. And the meeting is now adjourned.